Well, I thought I was done with collecting Troggoths or trolls. Um, I've got enough of the different types, and the only one that was left was the hag Troggoth, this um, um, female version of a troll that Forge World did, and I've ummed and ahed, and I've ummed and ahed too long because it's been discontinued. You can't get it anymore. And I think the reason they got rid of it was because in the wings was this fella who is Trugg, the Troggoth King. All right. And he came out 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was going to pre order it. And then I saw that when he came out, you don't just get him, you get 6 other rock gut Troggoths. All right. Um, A, I've already got 6. B, I don't really need another 6. C, that meant the price of the box with Trugg and those guys in was like £90, something like that, and I can't justify that. Apparently, at some point, old Trugg here will come out as a standalone figure. But I like the idea of now you've got him, there's a book to get, and once you get the book, you can have a whole army of trolls, stroke Troggoths, you see. So, being the impatient type, I just watched a few on eBay, and I won this one quite cheap. And as you can see, the guy has done what an awful lot of people do is when they get one of these box sets, divide it up and sell them separately. So this is the 2 sprues for Trugg. Bit disappointed it didn't come with a base, but that's my fault. I should have checked the description to see whether it came with a base or not. It's all right. I can get a base. That's not a problem. So yeah, 2 sprues for Trugg, and of course no instructions. But my friend Josh, hello Josh, he's got the set because he's starting a Troggoth army, and he's very kindly photographed the instructions to put this fella together. So yeah, let's put this fella together. This is unusual for Games Workshop. The plastic is or was far waxier and oily than normal. So as a precaution, I gave everything a really warm soapy wash, and then built it. And I've seen people say that the part fit wasn't that good, and I was kind of like dreading it. And it's actually not too bad. You can see I've got some green stuff there, and up on his arm there, and on his other arm somewhere. Yeah, again, I know I'm a stuck record, but sometimes you have to put parts together unnecessarily. You know, there's multi-parts to a foot or something like that, and it's like I'd rather have just had the foot. You know, it's I don't know why they do it. It's like this shell hammer he's got is in 2 halves. It didn't need to be. It's not exactly a thrilling a bit of modelling, sticking 2 bits of a shell together. So it's going to be again out with blue tack. Because there's no way if I glued this all together I'll be able to get down in the armpits and under there and everywhere. So his head's going to be blue tacked on, ready for priming. The altar that he's got on his back is going to only be blue tacked in place to begin with. All right. So that's his body. This is his beard. I suppose it's a beard. This is going to be fun. And I mean that properly fun, not, oh God, this is going to be fun. But he's got all sorts of like carvings cut into him, which I've got to represent. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I mean, do Troggoths bleed red or do they bleed green? Don't know. Answers on a postcard. There's the altar. This was an odd thing to do. It's made up of about 5 or 6 parts, and one of these vines is actually part of the half. I think it's that half there. Look, you can still see there's a gap. It attaches, and then you've got to wrap the vine around. All right.
So there's multi-parts there, but what was good about this is you could put it together, then turn it upside down and actually glue it from the inside, right? So yeah, that's the altar thing. I think it's that way around, isn't it? Yeah. Bit of the old Mines of Moria going on there. I've got an idea what to do about this thing up top, but I'll talk about that further along the line. And then yeah, the face of the chap, the all important face. Looking forward to doing this. I'm going to go my usual colour scheme route for my Troggoths, but even more so because this is a standout character, isn't it? And I'm not just talking about those whacking great big antlers. Again, the antlers, this is a two-part with the join just there, right? So that end and that end. This one, it's that, and the join was pretty atrocious. It's like, why not just have it as one piece? But anyway, his head fits quite snugly onto the head, so onto the body. So I'm just blue tack everything in place, and then I'm priming.
There he is then, in primer, temporarily together. Next step, take him apart, start blocking things in. The other thing I've decided to do, I've got a 100mm base on its way from eBay, and I thought I would just populate it a bit. So out my bits box, I've got a flattened goblin who I'll put somewhere behind as if the Troggoth King has stomped on him. I've got various little toadstool creatures and looking like a facehugger there, but that's a spider off the dank old Troggoth kit, the spare one. I'm umming and ahhing whether I'm going to snip the thread off and put a bit of clear lining like I did with my Trogg Boss, or just use that, and I'm going to have it like hanging from one of the antlers, all right, just to customize him a little bit.
So skin underway, that's Vallejo olive green, washed with Nuln oil quite heavily. As you can see, darkens it right down. It's almost like a Thunderbird 2 yellowy green, but the Nuln oil was really taken that down, and I wanted that. The beard is again Vallejo, and I think that's Vallejo green brown, just something a little bit different. Yeah, here's his face. That's nice and dark. That's exactly what I wanted, because from now on in, everything's dry brush, dry brush, dry brush. All right, and I'm still a bit nervous about what I'm going to do about this, what it's going to look like. But the initial step is, and it doesn't look that obvious, but over the grey primer, I've put Esrin grey, and again, washed it heavily with Nuln oil. All this rubble at the bottom, where you've got the debris and the skulls and the shields and all bits and pieces, all that rubble, I just noticed there's a face in there. It's interesting. I want this rubble to be distinctive from the actual altar. I don't want it all being the same, so I've got to think of a slightly different colour for that. All right, and of course, yeah, I've got all the vines and the tendrils. This is going to be a very colourful model when done, I think, but right now, pretty dark. This is the darkest it'll be. Also great about dry brushing goblins and trolls and troggoths and gits is the speed of it, because unlike a lot of dry brushing where you dry brush on one colour, wait for it to dry, wash out your brush, do it again, you can just build up the colours, and this is what I've done here. So over that darker green that I had, I've dry brushed Nurgling green, then Niblet green, and then I've gone in with some oranges and reds. So As you can see here, he's lighter in places. Still don't know what to do about all these carvings that are all over him. Giving him a bit of a red belly. I might make that redder, actually. I've given him some glowing cheeks there, because that's always funny. And yeah, and here we go with his face. I like my Troggoths to have red noses. I was going to go full on red right the way to the top, but no. What I've done is dry brush the lighter greens, fading it away to the top, and then the oranges up, fade it away to the top. Then this last red, which is Astaroth red, which is a dry paint. I just very lightly dry brushed that from the bottom upwards, easing off as I went up, and then just kept on going stronger and stronger at the very tip. All right, I might go even redder. I don't know. The time to tell is when other colours are in, i.e., his horns, and once I've picked out the fleshy areas of his mouth, and then just see what it looks like. Artificial light today, I'm afraid. So all those glyphs I've picked out, I managed to get in there with a fine paintbrush and paint it fleshy, and then put Carasborg Crimson over it. I've put some like washes over these boils. I don't know if I'm going to go any further with that and have him all pussled up. All right, just blocking in the skulls that he wears on his belt. This is a rethink. This was like an olive drab loincloth, but I didn't like it. It was too dark. Everything was getting a bit dark, so I've brightened that up, and I've also done the same thing on his little cloth here on his beard. I'm assuming that these are bones, a necklace made out of bones. So that's the way I'm painting it, and also his little belt along his back there, same thing. All right, talking about rethinking, I've been having rethinks about this, not the top bit. I'm still apprehensive about what I'm going to be doing about that, but no, the boulders and all the scatter material along the bottom, I tried doing it a different colour to the altar, and it just wasn't working. You can see under there different colour schemes that I was trying, and it ain't working. So I've gone back to the Escherine grey, just mixed with a little bit of a Vallejo other grey, and washed it with Nuln oil, and just dry brushed it up, bring out the details. Looking forward to going in and painting all these dead guys and all the bits and pieces. This works really well, by the way. This sorry, that was my cat walking past. This works really well. If you put a big blob of blue tack on the top of a paint pot, that makes a really good holder for that part. So that's that. What else we got? Oh, yeah, coming on with his face, as you can see. Rethink again. I did his tongue a dark green, and it just wasn't working. So I've done it in a flesh, and I'll be washing it. Picked out his eyes. One eye is bigger than the other, in a lovely lilac colour. Got to go in with my know my hand steady and pick out the pupil. Right, then start washing the teeth. So that's going along. And then all these little chums. This guy, I'm going to put just behind him, like so. So he's trodden on him, right? What else we got? We got this little frog on a mushroom. That was a joy trying to paint those legs. I've decided this little spider, I'm not going to have it dangling from his antlers. I've already done that trick. I'm just going to have him on the ground like so. All right, I like his colour scheme. Then I've got the little Halloween mushroom. Got to pick out his eyes. That's going to be fun. And really like this little snail. As you might have seen on my my videos, my Gitz army, they all have the same colour eyes. All right, I'm going to make this mouthy bit a bit fleshy. Now I've got to pick out the mushrooms on the back of his shell. The base has come, bought that off of eBay, so he's going to be on the base there like that. Once he's stuck on there, I've been using this club as a handle, and if I carry on I'm going to start wearing the paint off, but this is Halford's card primer and it's tough stuff, so it should be all right. But once he's glued on, I can hold him via the base and I can get started on that. Oh, and I forgot one bit. I forgot this little bit. Oh, get it the right way around, which is another bit. He's got this like cloth adornment on one side of his beard. This thing goes on the other side. I've completely forgotten it, so I've got to prime that and play catch up with that. So that's Trugg's face done. Just got to, as you can see, do the horns and his little adornments. What else have I got for you today? All the little peoples who will be peopling his base. I'm working on them. Just got to do the vines and finish the little frog sat atop this little pumpkin creature. Then I've got this wee little froggy with his mushrooms on his back. Got leftover red spider from our son's Arachnorock spider, so he's going on there. Did I mention before? I haven't gone back and had a look, but yeah, I did. I said, didn't I, that I'm not going to have this one hanging, so I've painted him a different colour to the red one that's on my dank old Trogboss. Also, we've got some mushrooms. It's one of my favourite wee critters. This little snail creature with mushrooms on his back. Again, all my my Gitz armies have the same coloured eyes. And there's one last base person, and that's this fella down in here. All right, who was left over. I think this is from the old giant Gargant figure, and I've had him in the box for ages. So I put him at the back. And the whole idea, I've already glued him in before I put the scatter material, because I want to put the scatter material all around him so it looks like he's been pressed down into the ground because he's been stomped on. This is almost done. I'm still umming and ahhing whether I should have done this or not, but the strappings for the skulls I've done in a red just to pick them out, you know. And also to make things stand out a bit, this big shell that he uses for clobbering the altar to activate it, I've done in pink and then dirtied it down with brown and black, just so you've got a bit more colour going on. Everything's green and brown, and I just want something a bit different. So that's that, and the rock's done there. I've based all the strapping. I'm going to be putting contrast over that once they're all done. All right, so that's that. And then finally, this is good fun doing the base. You can see I'm almost done on the metallics and the skulls. And yeah, the top of the altar, Trugg, every time he hits it, the altar activates and energy comes out, and you then roll a 6-sided dice and look on the chart to see what ability will get that turn. All right. So I wanted it to look like it's been activated, and a lot of folk, they paint this in this style where you paint it as if it's illuminated, because then you have the colour of that actually catching on the things around it, and I'm not confident to do that. So what I've done instead is I've just painted the top in metals going up to the brightest silver I've got, and then what I've done is I've just put a green contrast over the top. It's not as effective as I would have liked, but hopefully it will infer something's going on. And yeah, last thing on this is do all the creepers and the vines, and this bit will be ready to go. All right, there he is, all finished then. Okay, everything put on, everything is done. Yeah. Oh yeah, and round at the back, I have managed to like embed a little unfortunate goblin in the soil. So there we are. The only thing is that's different to how I set out to do is we've only got a big fat red spider there, some mushrooms, and a skinny little yellow spider there. And the reason for that is now I've built this. This Trugg is a Troggoth King, and he can lead a Troggoth troll army. All right. So if you follow my channel, you'll have seen I've been doing some Troggoths over the last year or so. And I didn't want to get more of the same because I've gone through every combination there is of heads and arms. And it's all going to look very samey. So what I've done is I've brought in this fella who I've had since either the late 80s or the early 90s. It's the old Citadel, back then they were Citadel miniatures, Citadel Troll, because they were trolls back then. And I just think this is a classic design. This is back in the day when, you know, there was real uniqueness to all their sculpts and a lot of humour in their sculpts. And so yeah, this is the old Citadel white metal troll who I've had for a very long time, and he's had so many repaints it's untrue. When I first got him back in those days, Games Workshop, Citadel, they had started doing acrylic paints, but there weren't that many. I was still using Humbrol paints and not acrylic, you know, they were enamel paints. And so he's been stripped of paint a few times and he's been repainted over the years in acrylics. So what I had to do, he's been in the display case on a square base. So I had to snip him off the base. You can just about see in there, there's his original base there, and glue him to a round base so he matches the current way of doing things. Put a lot of scatter material, scatter rocks to kind of like hide the join. And then, yeah, two more of the little characters I've put on his base. And as you can see, yeah, I've done the colour scheme matching what I do now with the skin on the Troggoths, you know, the same shade of green, red belly, of course, and the same light blue eyes. And yeah, I've put these little denizens on, and I chose these two because they're a lot of fun, aren't they? They are a nod back to these early days. So I figure these two little fun characters can be on a base with this fun character.